Hey guys, welcome back to another lesson in whole numbers. Let's get started. There are 430 students at Peter Greer Elementary. 265 students are boys. How many are girls? Use any materials or strategies you like. You can use pictures, numbers, or words to show your work. Try that out for a sec. Okay, let's say MrHardy.com had numerous visitors to its website. By the way, it does not exist. Just putting that out there just for an example. On Saturday, there were 2,031 visitors. On Sunday, there were 856. How many more visited on Saturday than Sunday? We will be looking at 3 different strategies. And just as a side note here, anytime you see how many more in the words than, that is a signal that we'll be doing some subtracting if you ever see that on a word problem. Okay, so we're gonna do strategy number 1. We're gonna subtract from right to left, aka also known as the good old-fashioned way. And so you can notice here that we start in the ones column. We cannot do 1 minus 6, so we have to do something called borrowing. So I'm going to cross that 3 out and put a 2, and that makes this 11. We're borrowing a 10 there. So 11 minus 6 we can do, which is a 5. Let's move on. Let's do the tens column. We have 2 minus 5. Well, we cannot do that. Normally we would borrow from the hundreds column, but there's a 0 there, so we have to go all the way to the thousands, cross that out, put a 1. And so we need to give this hundreds a group of 10. However, that 2 was looking to borrow 1, so I'm going to cross that out again and put a 9. I'm going to make that a 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 9 minus 8 is 1. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So the answer here is 1,175 more visitors on Saturday than Sunday. So I picked this question on purpose because you had to borrow where there's nothing there. There's a 0. If you get really good at it, you'll maybe I'll just rewrite this. When you start borrowing, you'll be able to skip this and just put that as a 9 because you know that this is going to go to a 12. But if you need helpful reminders, make it a 10. I'm talking right here, and then make it a 9 right after. All right, strategy number 2 is doing something called making friendly numbers, making friends, let's say, and then estimating to check the answer. So I'm going to rewrite this out. We had 2,031 minus 856. Also, something you should notice, when you get a question that is horizontally written, it's being written this way, you will want to make it vertical, going this way. But it's very important, and I have lots of students that mess this up, is getting the ones together, the tens together, making sure that we have the proper order, because there is no thousands place, so there should not be any number underneath that 2. Just putting that out there, okay? Anyways, we're going to make some friendly numbers. So to make that 2,031 friendly, let's just subtract. Maybe I'll write that in a different color here. Let's subtract 31. That's going to make that an even 2,000, but I have to do that to the bottom one 2. So I do know that this is 2,000 now, and we're going to be subtracting now. Let's do a little mental math here. Well, this 6 and this 1, 6 minus 1 is a 5, and this 5 minus this 3 is a 2. We have that 8, so 2,000 minus 825. And you can see, Mr. Hardy, you should say, Mr. Hardy, those don't really line up, because this is not really lined up very well. Screwed that up. Okay, that's okay. I'll erase it. 825. That's a little bit better. Okay. Well, let's make this more friendly. Well, I could make this 825 into something that is more friendly. Let's add 75 to it, and that'll make it 900. Well, whatever we do to that one, we have to do to the other one. So now we have 2,075 minus 900. Okay. And 5 minus 0 is that, this is working out. I only have to borrow once, 10, and I get the same exact answer. So just remember that I'm taking away or adding, whatever I'm doing, it's not changing the answer. You can see we got the same answer. It will change the answer if you don't do the same to both numbers. Now, we should probably estimate to check our answer. Let's say, use a different color. 2,031 is about 2,000. And let's say 856, that's pretty close to 900. Our answer, if we do the math, is about 1,100. That is pretty close. We're in the right ballpark here, so that's a reasonable answer. So we can go ahead with that. All right, strategy number 3: making friendly numbers, then doing something called compensating. I'm going to rewrite this: 2031 minus 856. Okay. Well, let's change that into a friendly number: 2031 minus 900. Okay, and if we do that, we're going to get 1,131. Okay. Well, we changed that 856 to a 900, so let's just establish that 900, that's the number we changed to, minus 856. That is 44. And so we're going to have to take that 44 and put it back to that answer we got right here. We got to put it back because we were just kind of borrowing it for a little bit, and then we're going to put it back. So we get this answer here. So what you're doing is you're making a friendly number. This number, let's say we make this into a friendly number. We change it. We get an answer, but we have to take away or add the number that we put on there. So in this case, I added 44. And there might be other situations where you make this number maybe 800, and then you took away 56, and so then you would have to subtract 56 from your other answer. I'm sorry that sounds a little confusing, but what we're doing is we're just taking a friendly number, using it for a little bit, and then taking it back. Okay, it'd be similar to, how about a smaller example, 11 minus 2. Well, let's say I want to make this into an easier number, 10 minus 2, okay, which is 8. Well, I took 1 away. I do need to add it back. I took 1 away from this 11 to make it this. So if I took it there, I have to add that number back because I borrowed it, so that becomes actually a 9. Okay. All right, I'm going to get you to try one here. Ethan has a goal to watch 6,323 episodes of TV shows on Netflix. He manages to watch 382 by the end of the month. How many more episodes of TV does he need to watch? Now, this is obviously a ridiculous question. It's probably not even possible, but let's just go with it. So, using one of the strategies I showed you, try and get the exact answer here. All right, let's start with strategy number 1. That was the good old-fashioned way, 6,323. I highly recommend that you write it vertically, line up those digits. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 8 we cannot do, so I'm going to borrow here. That becomes a 2. This becomes a 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. 2 minus 3 does not work again. I'm going to borrow that. It becomes a 5. 12 minus 3 is 9. And then we're left with a 5. So he needs to watch 5,941 more episodes. Okay, let's do the friendly number meets estimating. So different color here. 6,323 minus 382. Okay. Well, to make this easier, maybe let's subtract 23 here to make that 6,300. But I have to do the same thing here. So 6,300. So we're going to get 359 here. Okay. Now, what can we do to make this a little bit easier? Well, perhaps we can add a number that will get us to 400 here. I think the number is 41. So I'm going to add 41 to both sides. So 6,341 minus 400. Okay. 1, 4, 401, 13 minus. So we're left with 5,941 again. Now we got to do some estimating here. So let's say 6,000 minus 400, something like that, and that will get us about 5,600, and that's pretty reasonable. That's okay. All right, so let's try the third strategy. So 6,323 minus 382. Okay, so let's try making this 382 into a friendlier number. Let's add 18 more to make that a 400. Okay, so we're adding 18. So 6,323 minus 400. Oh, Mr. Hardy, you didn't line up your digits again. 400. Okay, so 3, 2, borrow once. 13 minus 4 is 9, 5,923. So we need to take our 400 and just to prove the 382, and we're left with 18. So we need to add that 18 back on. Okay, so let's add that 18, and I get a 1, 3, 4, 9, 5,941. Alright, so we spent some time here, subtracting 3 and 4 digit numbers. I showed you 3 strategies. Again, there's always a recommended method, and I recommend the good old-fashioned way. It is the easiest way. But if you're trying to do it quicker, the compensating and the friendly number stuff is a good strategy, especially if it's close. Like 382, that's pretty close. I'm not sure if 18 is a friendly number to work with. But if you're like 5 or 6 off or something, you could do that in your head pretty easily. So that might be a way to go. But again, yeah, probably the good old-fashioned method, and your parents can definitely help you out with that one. So just remember, guys, in life, math happens. Take care.